Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Reactions as we are back in the People's List and going through stuff that have been selected by you out there, the general masses.
Specifically you. You know who you are.
And we are doing Volbeat and Becoming. Obviously, we've done Volbeat once before. It was one of the boys' picks when we did Die to Live. So,
Still sounds like a James Bond movie.
it
Die to Live to
does.
me.
It's a very
Or
Bondish title.
yeah, or a Bond like theme tune at the very least, if not a movie.
Yes.
I've learned
Uh,
very little about Volbeat since. I haven't been back to them. I'll be honest. Other than finding out there's a Pokemon called Volbeat.
this is true.
I don't know what
Um,
came first. I don't know whether the band came first or
Probably gonna go that the Pokemon was first, but I
well,
don't think they took the name from it
I'm not
because
very
it's volume and beat from the old school record player.
Oh, okay.
Is
Because I was going to say I'm not very adept with Pokemon. I know it exists. I've never played a game, but I do know that like old school Pokemon, there are a lot less, 150, and I think over the
something
years
like
they've added to that. And yeah, I don't know when Volbeat the Pokemon come into existence.
that. So, shall we become?
Before we do, I was just going to say, is this a relatively recent track by them?
Now you're testing me.
Oh, sorry. I thought you might know. Sorry. Don't
As
worry about it.
as
Well,
as the resident Volbeat fan, you think I should know? It was. I think it was the last album, which
okay.
was about a year or so ago.
Oh, so like relatively
Yes,
recent, I guess.
yes, it's a newish bit of Volbeat. So, shall we become?
Um, yes, I was going to say something witty about Pokemon, but as I said, I know very little about it, so let's just watch the video. And
So,
that were
Mr. Seddon,
becoming
how did this one hit you?
a lot better. Like it's very distinctly different musically, isn't it?
Yeah,
I look, we talked a little bit before we went on it. I remember the first one feeling more like Status Quo. This one did not feel like Status Quo at all to me. It leans much more into old school metal. It's the honest truth. Musically, that is
yeah.
certainly. And I don't know. I don't know whether I would have loved it on its own, but all the way through it, I was kind of comparing it to what I'd heard before, and I think, just for me, it compares really favourably, and I think it might have even made me like it more than I would have naturally, if that makes sense. How about
Yeah.
you? Like, where does this fit in the Volbeat pantheon for you?
See, this is where I remember that I haven't listened to the newest album that much.
Yeah,
Um, it was one of those of I did what I always do when certain bands that I really into, like Volbeat, the album comes out, I get it on day one, listen to it loads in that first week,
yeah,
and then it goes back to if I'm listening to Volbeat, I then chuck on the ones that I know I want to listen to.
yeah.
So yeah, this new the last sort of two albums, both of them have been a little bit more neglected. Not that they're like a bad quality or anything, but it's just like if I want a Volbeat fix, I'm going to some of the earlier ones because it's just like banger, banger, banger sort of albums.
Which one's more Volbeaty? I know it's not a word, but
See,
this song or Die to Live. Does either one of them are they more indicative of what I'd get if I listened to a Volbeat album, or are Volbeat albums like this where they vary
there
in
is
musical stylings
there
throughout?
is there is a variation between them. With some of the stuff, you do get the heavier side of it because Michael, the singer, was in a black metal band before doing Volbeat and is now doing a
Really?
black metal side project because he wanted to get his heavy shit back on. So there's always that sort of heavy underground nastiness that's always there or thereabouts. But he also loves his boogie woogie and his
Well,
sort of
and,
old
and
school rock and roll and metal.
it's
So
strange. I can't pass in my head the idea of him being the singer in a black metal band because the two songs I've heard and heard him sing, yeah, I just can't imagine it.
yeah, so there is out there. I've heard it. It was the quality is terrible because this is sort of not on a
Recorded
record
in my back
label,
bedroom, sort of jobby, yeah,
on in a biscuit
yeah,
tin sort of
yeah.
thing.
On one of them old school tape players that they used to use for interviews in police stations, that sort of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
but yeah, it is that thing of like there's always at least one or two brutally heavy songs on every album. They will always have something that's really heavy, and then they'll always have sort of jaunty sing alongy stuff as well. So it is sort of Volbeat as a whole.
yeah.
But yeah, it said when they do heavy, they do it very well. But it's still not disgustingly heavy enough to scare away the kids, as you
Well,
can tell by this video, because all the kids they get on stage.
oh yeah, yeah. Like that did sort of shine out at me as well. Of like the because obviously, as you said, it was Will. It was the boy
Yeah,
who said to, and yeah, you could easily see that, couldn't you? How they connect with their audience, regardless of what age and how much sort of joy there is. As I say, I mean, lyrically, it felt a bit. And I'm gonna say old school metal. Like, just it felt of a time 30 or 40 years ago with it lyrically, and not in a bad way. Like, it felt kind of nice.
yeah,
But
throwback.
nice yes, yeah, nice for someone to kind of play in that world, but playing that world in a familiar, pleasant way. We're talking about the devil a lot and flames it higher and higher, but without it being Satan. You can see why it's still family friendly, even though
Yeah,
it does this sort of stuff. I will say though, my biggest critique of it would be, and it's just for me, I don't like the vocals. Like they're catchy. but I think partly because of the way the chorus is written. But what I said about I can't see him in a black metal is, I don't know, they're just there and more talented than if I was there, but did really nothing for me. And if anything, I found myself going, get the singer off. Let's have some more of this guitar playing going on because that was just much more compelling for me.
Yeah, I guess with how Motive sings the vocal styles that he does, especially like for the Volbeat stuff, it is quite old school rock and roll sort of vibey sort of way of singing. That if that doesn't gel with you, you probably won't like
I think
most
it's
of their
less.
stuff because
I think it's less maybe the style on this one though, and I think it's more like it felt thin compared to the music.
hmm,
Like it didn't feel like the vocal matched what they were doing musically, and it I don't know. I you know a lot more than I do, but it felt like he was singing over a song that to me it felt like he shouldn't be singing over. It needed someone who was giving that a bit more oomph and a bit more belt and a bit more. I don't know. Yeah, there was something. It just as I say, it just felt out of place with the music for me, or not strong enough to be with the music. But not
so you
again,
wanted a
not
bit
that it was.
more in it.
Yeah, bit more sort of old school, that sort of thing. When it's delivering the bits, and I don't know. It just. I mean, it almost felt kind of casual in the delivery for me, and it,
Mm,
it felt like the music invoked feelings that it should have not been more casual. It should have been crescendoing a lot
bit more
more, whereas it
epic.
just comes in at it comes in at a level and kind of stayed at that level for me. But again, in being sung well, but just didn't work for me somewhere along the line.
Yes. So you lot out there, let us know down there. What do you think? Other song suggestions, not just Volbeat, but
Any
any.
other any other Pokemon that have released singles? Let us know.
Yeah. As always, YouTube things, like, subscribe, and ring bells. And until next time, good day.